Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. 3 people are in custody tonight after drug raids across homes and a bar in Launceston. 60 police swooped on properties, seizing ice, cash and tasers.
Officers seal off a Launceston hotel. Inside, sniffer dogs scour through cupboards and cars.
Good girl.
4 sites were raided across the city, uncovering ice, ecstasy and a large quantity of cash. 3 people from Kings Meadows, Newstead and Mowbray are now in custody.
A female and 2 males. At this stage they have not been interviewed.
The major operation involved 60 police and 4 canines.
These things don't happen overnight. We have been investigating some key players in the Launceston area for months.
Police are yet to reveal the total quantity of cash and drugs seized, but say the raids will have a significant impact, and they haven't ruled out conducting further searches. And they're confident the drugs have not been manufactured locally.
For northern Tasmania, this is a significant incident. Any opportunity we have to disrupt the distribution or importation of any drug into Tasmania is a big win for the community.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A woman charged with the murder of her own mother has arrived in Tasmania under police guard after being extradited from Western Australia. The 46-year-old today appearing in court for the first time. Our reporter Garth Burley has the details.
Natalie Ma is facing 1 count of murder for her mother's death in early October. Led off a flight from Melbourne and flanked by detectives, Ms Ma steps foot on Tasmanian soil for the first time since she was arrested for her mother's murder 5 days ago. Last night, the 46-year-old was loaded into a waiting police vehicle and escorted off the runway in Launceston. She was arrested in Bunbury, Western Australia last week over the alleged killing of her 71-year-old mother, Veronica Corstefine. Ms Corstefine was found by authorities in her South Launceston home late last month after friends expressed concerns for her welfare. But police believe she had already been dead for a number of weeks, and while the cause is still unknown, they're confident no weapon was involved. Today, Natalie Ma's first appearance in the Launceston Magistrates Court lasted only minutes, with the defence asking for the matter to be adjourned. The accused appeared visibly shaken in the dock before being remanded in custody. She'll face court again next month.
A doctor working at Bupa's South Hobart Aged Care Facility has spoken out about how multiple levels of management ignored her concerns. Fronting an Aged Care Royal Commission in Hobart today, she said she raised flags over staffing levels, medication management and undertaking clinical observations, saying she was encouraged to earn as much money for the company as possible while working there.
How did you perceive that your raising those observations and criticisms was received?
Deaf ears.
Deaf ears.
The general practitioner said things are now better at the company and she's hopeful the sector will continue to improve. More Tasmanian firefighters are being deployed to help with the bushfire situation interstate. We're sending another 40 volunteer and career personnel as authorities brace for more severe conditions in coming weeks.
Here is what one Tasmanian crew has faced in New South Wales. Night shift for the Lauderdale Fire Brigade sent to provide backup for interstate crews. They were part of the contingent sent in a military plane on Sunday. Today, more of our firefighters were joining the cause, this time sent in to help in the bushfire fight in Queensland.
So this morning we sent off 20 volunteer firefighters from the north of the state, and we're about to send another 23 to help in that firefighting campaign this afternoon. With
conditions worsening, volunteers such as Ron Moss are making the journey. After 22 years' experience in the service, he's ready for the challenge ahead.
We've heard that the conditions are still very dire in Queensland. They're expecting very hot days in the next couple of days, and their fire season started early and is continuing.
Tasmania is returning the favour after our own recent experiences with bushfires where those interstate helped here. Now it's our turn.
We're trained very well to do this sort of work. We've had fire seasons here that have tested us, so we know what work we have to do, and we're there to help out as much as we can in any way we can.
But as we see the pictures of devastation interstate, the TFS is urging Tasmanians here to prepare now.
Let's not be complacent. Tasmania, this is a big signal for you as a resident to know that we've got bushfires coming. They're going to happen. It's as likely as the sun comes up that we're going to have bushfires at the end of the year and into the new year.
Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmanian News.
There's been a political blow-up over fires here in Tasmania too, with our preparedness for a major blaze in the spotlight. The government has been scrutinised over the fire services staffing and resources.
An early start to Tasmania's summer bushfires, spilling into Parliament. Tensions flaring early, the Premier accusing Labor of politicising recent blazes.
For the worst here in Tasmania, and it is this opposition that are wishing for it.
Order, and that wasn't very called for, Premier.
He was forced to withdraw the comment, but faced scrutiny over the government's bushfire preparedness and remote firefighting capability.
The fire season has changed. Fire activity is different. Climate heating is causing it. It will continue to make it more intense. We have to respond differently.
We understand that in most recent bushfires, there was inadequate resourcing within Tasmanian Fire Service to staff that within their existing staffing complement.
A government statement later saying incident management teams were established when needed, and 160 remote firefighters will be available from December 1.
I back our fire service to keep our communities safe, as they have done this year. They have not been under-resourced, as opposition members suggest.
Meanwhile, the controversial Westbury prison was in the spotlight. Documents revealing 4 of the alternative sites were at Rochalee, Wivenhoe and Latrobe, with one withdrawn by the nominator.
The 3 other sites, the gradient, one of them was deemed unsuitable for a prison development, and 2 other sites were removed from the shortlist because they were primarily within residential areas.
Labor continues to call for all shortlisted sites to be released. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A man has pleaded not guilty to charges over a fatal crash in the Hobart CBD earlier this year. Paul Anthony Saberis was charged with causing death by negligent driving over the April crash on the corner of Victoria and Harrington Streets. An 81-year-old woman died in the days following the crash. The matter has been adjourned until February 2020. Metro has called for bus priority measures to be implemented in a bid to tackle rising traffic congestion. Fronting a parliamentary inquiry today, Metro bosses said currently its customers' greatest concern is service reliability, saying for improvements to be made, councils need to take more action, calling for bus lanes and priority traffic lights to be rolled out to make public transport more appealing.
If we could be in a position where we have the infrastructure that allows buses free movement and priority flow through traffic, then we're confident, and our patrons can be confident.
The inquiry continues tomorrow, examining what needs to be done to address growing congestion in Greater Hobart. Motorists will now have to slow down on the Launceston southern outlet following the approval of a reduced speed limit. The stretch from the Bass Highway interchange to Howick Street will now be a maximum of 90 kilometres per hour. A high rate of crashes is behind the change, with more than 135 recorded since 2013. The Transport Commissioner says it will only add 16 seconds to travel time. The next wave of Tasmanian high schools to be extended to Year 12 has been revealed. The Education Minister today announcing Bothwell District, Brooks, Cosgrove, Exeter, Montrose Bay, Queechee and Riverside High Schools will all be extended in 2021. The plan is part of the government's initiative to improve retention rates.
Support, including funding, will be provided to these schools throughout next year to further develop their Years 11 and 12 implementation plan and curriculum offerings in 2021.
43 schools around Tasmania have already been extended, with another 4 rolling out next year. The Red Cross is calling for Tasmanians to roll up their sleeves and donate blood. With bushfires affecting donor centres in New South Wales and Queensland, they've revealed the two states account for 50% of blood donations nationally, urging those who are able to donate to help cover any potential shortfall.
And we share our inventory across the whole of Australia. So, our impact here locally can really help those suffering in New South Wales and Queensland.
The Red Cross have centres in Burnie, Devonport, Launceston and Hobart. The Cancer Council has celebrated its upcoming 20th anniversary for Relay for Life by setting an ambitious fundraising target of $1 million. Relay for Life sees teams walk for 24 hours in an effort to raise money for cancer research. Since 2001, more than 100,000 participants have helped raise close to $15 million statewide.
It's more than a fundraising event, it's an experience. It's about celebrating life, remembering loved ones and fighting back against cancer.
The first of 6 relays in Tasmania will begin in the Huon Valley in just over 100 days' time.
The Hobart Hurricanes WBBL finals hopes are slipping out of reach after going down by 39 runs at Invermay Park today. The Sydney Sixers' star power proving too much, dishing the embattled Canes their 6th loss in a row.
With more than 1,000 Launceston fans keen to witness an early Sixers batting collapse, Australian stars Elise Perry and Alyssa Healy were quick to silence them.
This time a short delivery and pulled into the gap. That's a class shot again by Healy.
The pair making the most of the short Invermay Park boundary as they belted the visitors off to a flyer.
Delivery whipped into the onsides and over the fence for a maximum.
After a costly stint with the ball, Nicola Carey finally found the right area.
Oh, she does, but she misses and she's bowled.
But Perry wasn't going anywhere, whacking her way past 50 before helping the visitors along to a 172-run total.
Short, and she hits it long and in over the main pavilion here. That's a 6. Oh, that hurts the Hurricanes. Elise Perry, take a bow. What a classic exhibition.
Promoted up the Canes batting order, Erin Fazakli got off to a promising start.
And flayed onto the onside, and that's a big maximum. Got every bit of it on that occasion.
But her run came to an end soon after on 16. Heather Knight was out to impress in game number 50, but Marizanne Kapp had other ideas.
And that's not to be a terrific delivery.
English recruit Fran Wilson set about salvaging the match, with Canes skipper Corinne Hall gifted a lifeline on 2.
Oh, and that one's gone straight up in the air. Healy will get around. The bowler nearly got in the way and they made a meal of it.
She went on to make them pay, combining with Wilson to give the locals something to cheer about.
This time again, sweeping into the gap, and that's really well timed, and they do get that boundary.
The partnership eventually brought to a halt, with heavy-hitting South African Chloe Tryon the last hope for an unlikely victory.
Yeah, straight down the ground. That'll be 4. That's a good shot. That's a really good shot, and the Invermay Park crowd really appreciate that one. They know their team's still in with a shout here.
But when she was dismissed on 19, the rest of the order followed suit as the Canes WBBL finals hopes suffered another blow.
Meantime, the Tasmanian Tigers are headed for a likely draw following day 3 of their Sheffield Shield clash with South Australia in Adelaide, with the Redbacks back in bat for the second innings and leading by 311 runs at stumps a short time ago. Alex Doolan carrying on his form from yesterday, belting his way to his 10th first-class century, with Matthew Wade showing national selectors he's primed for a big summer with the bat before falling 11 runs short of his own ton. Ben McDermott trapped by Tom Cooper on just 10, with Caleb Jewell also failing to fire. But Doolan was far from done, smashing his way past 150 as Aussie Test captain Tim Payne did his bit for the cause with a string of boundaries before the Tigers declared for a first innings total of 5 for 345.
Good evening. Friendly Beach is the warmest today with 20. Hobart 16, Launceston and Devonport 19 and Burnie 17 today. Mount Wellington 2 mentions tonight, the overnight low of -3 and the strongest wind gust today of 122 kilometres an hour, shared with Matsyker Island. St Helens 18 degrees, Low Head, Ouse and Flinders Island 15, King Island, Grove and Strawn 14 today. Lyawini reached 7. We did have low-level convective cloud over Tasmania, most of the heavy rain over the west and the highlands. Mount Reid, 51 millimetres, and Cradle Mountain and Cradle Valley, 35, topped that list. Behind the cold front, the cold pool of air begins to push over the state. Low-level cloud is over coastal parts of South Australia and Victoria. A broad surface trough has the cloud over inland WA. Tomorrow, another front approaches Tasmania as the high tracks over the Bight. Surface troughs remain along the north and west of the country. Westerlies tomorrow at 20 to 30 knots, reaching 35 knots over southern and possibly northeastern waters, swells to 4 metres. A severe weather warning has been issued for southern and eastern Tasmania, a gale warning from Cape Portland to St Helens Point and from Tasman Island to Low Rocky Point, a strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters and for the inland lakes. We also have a warning to sheep graziers for the east coast, Midlands and the southeast. Forecast for tomorrow, possible shower for Hobart, a windy day and 19, 18 for Cygnet with that same forecast and 19 for New Norfolk. Launceston tomorrow, 20 the high, becoming windy and cloudy, 18 for Devonport, 21 for Campbelltown. Burnie 17 degrees with a shower or two, 15 the top for Strawn and showers, Smithton showers increasing and 17. 20 the high for St Helens, becoming windy, partly cloudy, same for Swansea but 22 degrees and 21 for Fingal. UV as a very high 9. On Friday, showers mainly over the west, south and Bass Straits, no to 800 metres in the afternoon. A shower over the west and south on Saturday, mostly fine elsewhere, and partly cloudy on Sunday with another shower over the west and south and maybe over central districts. 36 in Perth tomorrow on a sunny day. Cloudy and low 20s for Adelaide and Melbourne. Warm and sunny in Canberra and Sydney. A bit warmer in Brisbane with 29 there. A little cloud over Hobart, 12 degrees at the moment, 16 and sunny in Launceston, partly cloudy in Devonport and 15. Joe, if we had some time, I'd wish my wife Donna a happy birthday, but apparently we haven't got time for that.
We have got time. Happy birthday, Donna. I hope he takes you somewhere nicer than last year. That's all from the news team. Good night.